This is the all-new Rlaarlo Stormbreaker Carbon Black Edition. This thing just came out. It's a brand new model for Rlaarlo. And you know what I got? A flat road in front of me and an almost flat curved road behind me. A giant hat on my head, and that means we're gonna be running the new Rlaarlo today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check out the unboxing video, see what this thing came equipped with, and my overall first impression. Let me take the body off quick. We'll do a quick little overview, and then we're gonna do a couple speed runs and some bashing. Then we're gonna go back to the house and do an overall review. Notice how easily I just took that body off. Well, that's because this thing uses integrated, clipless body mount design in the rear. In the front, you just have a single body clip. Real nice, clever system. So this model is the carbon black version. It comes with the carbon fiber, the larger 3650 can brushless motor, 20 kg steering servo, waterproof radio box. We have carbon fiber inserts in all of the suspension arms, adjustable oil filled shocks, and an included 3S LiPo with a 60 amp ESC. I've just charged up the LiPo. I used the included 3S balance charger and checked the LiPo voltage to make sure that the included charger is good. You really want to have that 3S LiPo balanced, otherwise you're gonna have charging issues over time. Let me put the body on real quick and we're going to go on a test drive. That's all it took. Put the front clip in. Of course, when you're doing this one-handed, things are often harder than they really need to be, but check that out. That's it. By the way, I decided to do the speed run first because, well, you gotta give it the best chance with the most amount of charge in the battery. Now it's time to do a little more running around. Oh, what is this I'm holding in my hand? Guys, my hands are freezing. It is real cold out here. And can I get a hell yeah and a like to this video? Leave me a comment. You see this? I have to self-warm myself with a freaking hand warmer. But if you want to get the newest and the best of the Rlaarlo SBK10, click the link in the description to the video. Make sure you pick up the carbon version, then you will have carbon fiber and some great upgrades. This awesome black and gold color scheme. Click the link, buy it. It's real good value, handles well, but the hand warmer, I can't give you that. I need it. It's cold out here. I'm gonna power it on, the radio gear, fully charged, also that 18650 cell, and I'm gonna just put my finger in and put it on. You can get a lot of things done in life like that. All right, the thing is active. Steering is real good. Let's do a test speed run to see how fast it actually is out of the box. Couldn't even hit myself, the brakes are so good. Crazy. I'll tell you this, guys, the brakes are incredible. Well, we're gonna have to see what the top speed was. I already did an overlay, so let me insert a little bit of a speaking part here because, well, I gotta review the footage myself. But what I do wanna say is, yes, this hat is actually quite warm. The throttle response, the brakes are phenomenal. The car goes relatively straight considering I have like a pretty large camera on the back of the wing. Don't forget, this thing also comes with a taller speed pinion, and we could probably expect to get about 5 to 6 miles per hour out of that. Well, I think I still have a full battery left. Let's keep running. Well, out of the box, it's not the fastest, but it's stable. We definitely need to put in that speed pinion. The brakes, let's check the brakes. Yeah, the brakes are killer, baby. The brakes and steering can't go wrong. Actually, this thing has a lot of torque. When it first picks up, crazy amount of torque. Really good center diff tuning. I'm going to do something I think I've never seen done in any video before. We got the car right here in the front. Keep looking straight. I'm going to just peg the throttle, not touching the steering wheel. Let's see if it goes straight. 1, 2, 3, peg the throttle. Not bad. I mean, it definitely did go straight. One more throttle, peg and go. No touching the steering. 1, 2, 3, peg, baby. Real good, real straight in my opinion.
It all started with an HPR racing RS4 and it will never end. It does not matter if the electric is a giant X-Max. Hybrid only cares about Nitro running rich and loud. Can he get a hell yeah, yeah?
I would say this thing has some great bashability. Oh. Oh. Got a situation. First little impact. Looks like I broke something. I didn't mean to do that, but it happened, my dudes. Damn. I guess we're gonna have to check out what part support is gonna be like, right? Well, time to go home and examine. Don't say hybrid didn't try. I tried. I ran it hard and I ran it strong, but it ran into an unlikely obstacle. Basically, concrete column. Let me collect my shock parts. That's gonna be nice. Anything else in the ground? All right, it's junk. Let's talk about what happened. I will attribute this damage to being 100% completely my fault. I think since I was obviously bashing in a new location, I don't normally record there, but the good thing is I did get the speed run. We got 29 miles per hour. I think this thing could do a lot more with a taller pinion. The truth is, the brushless power system is real strong. You know what could have saved this from a crash? I'm gonna show you right now. This right here, the basher bumper. Should have taken my own advice. You go bashing in an unknown spot, use the basher bumper. How cool is this thing? Trust me, I'm not giving you the middle finger. I'm not doing that. That's this hand. I don't know who's controlling it, but someone's controlling it. Either way, let's take a detailed look at what actually physically broke. Now, there's not a lot of data on these. Obviously, these just came out, but truth be told, if I line all of this back up, I would say the most rigid part is surprisingly unexpected. The suspension arm itself did not break really anywhere. It appears from the crash, and I'm going to play the crash as you guys are watching this. Well, there was obviously a giant concrete lamp post out there. And it appears that I smacked right into the edge with this portion of the suspension arm where the shock mounts. Now, I'm thinking, if I had this basher bumper, I would have just enough coverage here to kind of move some of that, absorb some of that impact, and it probably would have saved the shock. So it appears, obviously, my hinge pin got completely ripped out. I'm going to do a close-up here. But the outdrive is fine. I could still spin it. Literally nothing wrong with the outdrive. It's smooth. I just checked the chassis. The chassis is not bent at all, so it's in good condition. Part of that hinge pin holder in the front there, that little plastic piece, is not missing, so that is a good sign. Obviously, the hinge pin will need to be replaced. You could see it's not too good. It broke. But the rest of the suspension arm, we also need A couple turnbuckle rod ends over here, so that snapped. But at least the metal part didn't break. That's literally not even a big deal. The drive shaft itself, it's in one piece. Nothing is broken with the drive shaft. The wheel, in fact, still spins completely smoothly. Nothing happened. And yes, I am missing the entire shock. This will give me a good opportunity to take a look at some of the parts available for this model. The Rlaarlo parts website, let's take a quick look at what is available. Everything is literally in stock, a ton of parts, so it appears. The front shocks, about $21 for two. Really not a bad deal at all for assembled shocks like this. So 20 bucks or so, there we go. If you want a new body, but the body on this is pretty tough, it's literally not going to break. I'm going to scroll through this and stop at some of the parts that I think I need. By the way, keep in mind, a lot of upgraded aluminum parts support for this also, with a relatively reasonable price. Let's keep going. They got diffs. It's basically every single part you need. I'm looking for turnbuckles or tie rods or something like that. Check this out. Entire suspension arms, 12 bucks, but mine is fine. I really don't even need them. Next up, okay, here we go. We have the upper tie rod ball end. So 8 bucks. This will fix basically my entire tie rod situation there. Or if you want, we have some steering linkages, but mine is fine. I don't need this part really. Next up, what do we have? Anything interesting here? Servo link. I don't need that. Mine is fine. Front bumper. Well, definitely not going to be using that one anymore. Going to put in the basher bumper. We have the aluminum shock towers. Really reasonable price, $16. Mine are fine. I don't even need that. Here we have the front upper linkage assembly. So the entire assembled turnbuckle. You know what? I think I'm just going to order this instead. 12 bucks already assembled. How could you go wrong? So these are individual shock parts. Always better to just get the entire shock itself, to be honest with you. Still scrolling. Man, but honestly, everything is in stock. All right, here we go. Steel pins for upper suspension arm. All right, so this is the upper. I need the lower ones. Here we go. Steel pins for lower suspension arm. This is it, guys. This is it. $7 for hinge pins. Honestly, not even anything to worry about. Part support, not a problem. I have my voltage cell checker connected. Keep in mind that entire video was recorded with just one charge. So I really was trying to get the most out of a battery pack that I could. And, well, it led to a little bit of an unsafe driving environment. Let's check out the individual cell voltages. This will give us an overall good idea of the quality of the battery. Overall battery still at a healthy 11.5 volts, just about. First cell, 3.84. Second cell, 3.83. Third cell, 3.8. All within reasonable tolerances. I am happy to see that the included LiPo, well, it ran fine. Seems to be really nothing wrong with it. And the balance charger did a good job. Now, I do want to kind of end this video by saying I still highly recommend this model. The damage you see here basically is a combination of multiple factors. And I will be honest, I will take the blame and I will say I should have been more aware of the environment I was running this in. I should have also been aware that it was very cold, which increases your chances of breaking plastics severely. And also, I should not have been so hasty to record everything with just one video, and should have installed a basher bumper if I went bashing. Truth is, I really was just out there trying to get a speed run. I did not even expect this smaller 3S LiPo to last that long. And that motivation alone, well, it put me on a path of malevolence. That's the word I will use today, malevolence. Looking at the damage, once again, the point of failure is as expected for the damage we see here. Good news is, we now know the suspension arms are incredibly tough, and, well, we don't have to replace this. I think the parts cost for this is going to be relatively minimal. The main expensive parts, which are the shock tower, looking from the top view, it is completely straight. None of the real drivetrain, the diffs, nothing like that failed. The chassis did not bend. And, well, the Buggy did what it was supposed to do up until human error came into play. Real good chassis. I still highly recommend it. I think with a taller pinion, this thing could easily do 40 to 50 and still be extremely stable at speeds. As you saw when I did the peg and go test, I did it twice, literally not even touching the steering. This thing launched itself completely straight. And that was without a gyro, really without anything. And that means we have a good balanced chassis, close to no torque steer. And the most important thing, the servo centers itself beautifully, close to no slop. Even as right now I wobble it, no slop in that. Well, guys, click the link. I'm telling you, get one. But also, take my advice. Put on this included basher bumper if you're going to go bashing. You never know what's going to happen. A little more flexibility in the front like this really could have saved my front end. As for me, I'm going to go part shop right now. See you all in the next one. If you want to see a follow-up video with the included speed pinion after I repair this, let me know. Until then, go out there, run what you have. And if you don't have one of these, telling you, pick one up.